Everybody wants a stimulus check. Actually, everybody needs a stimulus check. Since May, Congress has toyed with every American's emotions by dangling a stimulus check in their face. The only problem is that nobody in Congress seems to really care about the American people enough to actually do something and pass a stimulus package that will provide some relief during this time when everybody is facing some type of a crisis. Yes, the stock market is doing great. You heard from President Trump the other day, the Dow is up over 30,000, which was the first time in history the Dow has ever eclipsed 30,000. But that isn't going to make up for everything. This isn't. The stock market does not dictate how people are actually doing. The problem right now is that, yes, the stock market's doing well. We could potentially have a vaccine in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But again, that doesn't make up for everything that has gone on over the past 7 months. The stock market used to be only for the super wealthy individuals. However, more and more Americans are dumping all their savings into the stock market with the hopes that it just takes off and they make money to provide for themselves and their families during this tough time. Now, I'm not ultimately dumping on the stock market. I'm not knocking the stock market. I absolutely love the stock market and make money in stocks every single day by doing some daily trades as well as some long-term trades. I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. I made my very first trade the day I turned 18 years old. Now, if you don't have a free account, I highly recommend you go and get one. It's absolutely free, doesn't cost you any money to open one. However, if you want to deposit $100 into a Webull account, they will give you up to 4 free stocks valued up to $1,600 each. I'll provide a link down in the description box below if you want to go and sign up. Now, you're probably wondering, what does the stock market have to do with stimulus checks? Are we going to get stimulus checks? Does it depend on what the stock market does? Does it actually depend on if I deposit $100 into Webull? Well, there is a reason why I'm referencing the stock market and stimulus checks. And here's the reason why. This is what I'm getting at. Recent reports with polls from middle-class Americans is stating that 30% of the people they polled of their middle class, they didn't exactly specify what middle class meant, but they said middle class Americans, and that 30% of the families that they polled put their stimulus checks into the stock market because they knew $1,200 was not enough. These families all agreed that anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 back in April would have been the right thing. That is the one-time payment they could have used. But as we all know, Congress sent out a $1,200 stimulus check. That's to anybody that filed. $1,200 for a filer, $1,200 to their spouse, and $500 for all dependents under the age of 17 up to 3. There were limits. Now, another report states that multiple economists are predicting that another $1,200 stimulus check in November, December, or January won't be enough either. They are saying the next stimulus check needs to be at least $2,000 in order to make an impact on the economy. Yes, $1,200 is better than nothing, but it won't go as far as Congress tends to believe. Congress thinks a $1,200 stimulus check to all Americans is going to prop up the economy, get all these businesses open, get schools open, and just get rid of the virus. That's not how things work. You can't just throw money at a problem. For example, a recent poll by Yahoo Finance states that 39% of people would use the stimulus money to rebuild personal savings. At $1,200, 100% of the funds would go into savings, and therefore never providing stimulus to the economy that the government intended to be used for. For example, if we get a $1,200 stimulus check in, let's say, beginning of December, let's say I take that $100 from it and I go and I buy an Xbox controller from Walmart. I go and buy food for a holiday gathering. I go and pay for my medical expenses due to COVID. That would be stimulating the economy. You're redistributing that money that Congress just gave you. And all reports say every single dollar that goes through, that you get paid, so $1,200, actually multiplies 5 times throughout the economy. So every single dollar equates to about $5. So based on what Yahoo Finance is saying, is that this $1,200 is being looked at as somewhat of a waste of money. They say unless checks exceed $2,000 in a one-time payment, the impact that checks would have on the economy would be very little. And just to give you some context, I don't know what your rent is, I don't know what your mortgage is, I don't know what any of your expenses are, but the average rent in the United States, this is based off numbers from February 2020, say the average rent is $1,468. So you can see right there how far a $1,200 stimulus check would actually go. All these people that are behind on rent, they get a $1,200 stimulus check, they put it towards rent, and guess what? They're still behind. This is the reason why $1,200 at this point during this pandemic is not enough. It's not even close. Many senators and representatives in the House support a larger stimulus check. They do. Some even support a larger monthly stimulus check. The most notable person to back a $2,000 monthly stimulus check is Kamala Harris. Yes, the VP elect, right? So, am I saying that we should be ready for a $2,000 monthly stimulus check as soon as Congress comes back to Washington? No, definitely not. Am I saying that a $2,000 one-time stimulus check could happen? It could, but not with the Republican Senate. This is where everything is coming to a close. Everything is going to come to an end very soon. When I say end, I'm not saying the earth is going to just burst into flames. What I'm saying is everything is going to come down to the Senate runoff election in Georgia on January 5th. Yes, it all comes down to Georgia. I've been telling you this for a couple weeks now. I'm going to continue to tell you this until January 5th. It comes down to Georgia. Here's the reason why. If Democrats win both seats, there's 2 seats up for grabs in Georgia. If Democrats win both, they have to win both. If they win one, nothing's going to change. It'll still be the same stimulus negotiations we're seeing today. But if Democrats win both seats, then a $2,000 stimulus check could be on the table. And many experts believe it would be on the table. Nobody has ruled out larger stimulus checks. People have only ruled out smaller stimulus checks. When people were talking about a $750 stimulus check to filers, $750 stimulus check, or even a $1,000 stimulus check to spouses, and a $250 to $500 stimulus check to dependents. People were kind of outraged at this. And so because of that, they stuck with $1,200. However, at this point, it seems like $1,200 is going to be the minimum, and it could only go up from there. Joe Biden and his chief of staff, Ron Klain, both know the amount of stimulus, the small stimulus check that Obama sent out back in 2008, and the tax cut that he provided in 2009. These did very little to stimulate the economy. This did very little. This was the reason why it took so long for the economy to ultimately bounce back after the financial crisis in 2008. Obama approved 52 million economic recovery payments of $250 each. Yes, $250. That was it. He also got families an $800 tax credit in 2009, and individuals received a $400 tax credit as well. These two forms of stimulus helped, but they also did very little. This is why Ron Klain said a couple of months ago that he knows what went wrong and he would not do that again. He specifically said he knows exactly what went wrong in 2008 and 2009, and he would not make that mistake again. That's good news. And this is one of the reasons why many experts believe that a larger stimulus check, if and only if Democrats win back the Senate in January, could actually happen. So, I know many families are needing stimulus now, but I can tell you that from a federal level, at this point, it's more likely that we see stimulus after January 5th than before. I can also tell you the most likely scenario, the highest probability of seeing stimulus comes after January 20th. That's when the new president will be in office. So, right now, there's a lot of claims going on about fraud. A lot. So when I say that's when the new president will be sworn in, that is when the new administration starts. Okay? So whether it's going to be the Trump administration or the Biden administration. Right now, we don't know. There's still a lot of claims, a lot of fraudulent claims being proposed, being put out there. And now they're actually coming forward with some proof. So we'll see what happens. Now, let me give you some good news regarding stimulus checks. New Mexico, even if you don't live in New Mexico, just wait because this is very good news. In New Mexico, they passed a $330 million virus relief bill that will provide $1,200 stimulus checks to anybody who has been on unemployment and up to $50,000 for businesses. The reason why New Mexico is doing this is because New Mexico still has funds left over from the CARES Act. And if these funds are not used in full by December 31st, then any leftover funds will be reverted back to the U.S. government. So this is seriously a use it or lose it type of funding. This is something that you need to be aware of because more and more states are beginning to see what is going on and are starting to put legislation together to give money to their residents before the money is gone. So, this is what we know right now regarding stimulus and the stimulus talks. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. I promise I will try to come back on tomorrow morning and provide another stimulus update if there's anything new to add. But make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe button so I can keep you updated, and I'll see you guys on the next one.